Good afternoon, everybody. Time for one more left guard video. Just a couple more guys to look at here because the draft was just a little bit late on the left guard prospects. And in this video, we're going to take a look at the guys who are pure depth, I think. I don't see a ton of upside here. I don't see much opportunity for these guys to become even below average starters. I think you're getting these guys to be depth, to be backups, to be emergency options. So, yeah, things got thin pretty quickly here. But, hey, we could use a backup. Somebody better than Jalen McKenzie. Somebody better than Joey Hunt. You know, better than those guys. Somebody who at least can go out there and not completely embarrass themselves. So, let's take a look at these guys, and then we'll move on to another position tomorrow. Ryan Hayes is the first guy we're going to look at here, a Michigan Wolverine product, 23 years old, 6'6", 298 pounds, 32.5-inch arms, 10-inch hands. Measurements are reasonable. 5.18 40, 1.78 10-yard split, 30-inch vertical, 8 foot 7-inch broad. 7.39 cone. Testing was actually pretty decent, I think. ESPN and Sports Illustrated both like him a lot. Sports Illustrated actually has him in the third. ESPN has him in the fourth. I'll tell you, I don't see that. I think him going somewhere in the fifth or sixth round is more reasonable. That's what I would expect. That's what the aggregate has. He graded out well as a well-rounded offensive lineman in 2022. He graded above average to good in the run, in the pass, in zone, in gap, and he didn't allow any sacks. So, solid year for Ryan Hayes, and he definitely deserves some credibility in the draft. I just don't know if it should come from us. So, Ryan Hayes, this is another guy who I believe played mostly tackle at Michigan. He stays in front of pass rushers well. He's capable of mirroring well. He's got a big frame, even though he's not a big guy necessarily. He's kind of long, and he's hard to get around. He's hard to get around as a speed rusher sometimes, and he's hard to bully as a bull rusher guy. So he's pretty strong. He's somebody with a good amount of tenacity to him. He's able to play fairly well in space, I think. He is capable of moving around in space. He wins reps quickly with good handwork. He's got good hands, good understanding of how to utilize them. He's somebody who's going to work hard until the whistle blows. He's somebody who's going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. He's not going to just end the rep when he feels like the play is over. So, positive traits for sure. Now, I do think he was occasionally a little slow to get out of his stance at the snap, which that won't be as bad if you play him inside, obviously, compared to playing him at tackle. But he was a little slow off the snap. Sometimes he gets caught out of control. But the main problem, I think, with that is, again, the pass rushers. So as long as you play him in a guard role, I think that'll be a little bit mitigated as well. But all of this being said, moving him inside is still a little bit difficult because he's 6'6". And when you're a 6'6 guard, you lose the leverage battle a lot, and that creates problems. So Ryan Hayes is far from a perfect guard prospect either. Also, and this might be the biggest problem actually, he played for Michigan. They use a power rushing attack for the most part. They are a power-heavy rushing attack, meaning that Ryan Hayes has most of his experience with that kind of stuff, which I don't think makes him a great fit for what we do. I do think he's an interesting developmental piece, but I do think he's probably best served finding a team that does the same things that Michigan does. The gap schemes, the man-power schemes, the kinds of stuff that Ryan Hayes is actually going to be familiar with. I would say he's worthy of a 5th or 6th round pick. I just don't think it makes sense for this team. This particular team, we need, even though I don't think Ryan Hayes is bad in space, I do think that, there are some technique issues. I do think there's a little bit of a lack of get up at the snap. I think there's enough concerns here to make me feel like he's just going to be better somewhere else. All right, one more guy here. It's the local kid, Jackson Kirkland of the Washington Huskies. Going to be 25 years old by the time the season starts, by the way, so we're already kind of off to a rough start here. He's also a little bit on the bigger side. 6'7", 321 pounds. Not ideal for a left guard, even though I do think he'll project to be able to play left guard in the NFL personally. That's debatable. In the at the college level, I know he actually didn't play left guard. I think he was a left tackle and a right guard. So I don't know how great the projection is, but I think it's as good a bet as any at this point. I don't really know what he's going to be. 33.5-inch arms, 10.5-inch hands, so those measurables are good. Only did bench press at the combine, did 19 of them. Most of the big boards have him in like the 5th or 6th round or so. Draft Network has him undrafted. So I do think he's going to be a mid day 3 pick, somewhere in the middle of day 3. He's going to go. He had a good season in 2022. PFF graded him well in run blocking and pass protection. Nice grade in zone, pretty good in gap, and didn't allow any sacks. He only played 10 games, but still plenty of reps. I mean, look, if you're a Huskies fan, you're probably pretty familiar with this guy. He was a very reliable and solid contributor for us. Technician in the nuances of blocking. He understands the little things. He's relatively refined, which makes sense because he has a lot of experience. He's a good move blocker despite his size. And he's going to offer you a smidge of versatility as a tackle. He's going to be great on combo blocks where him and somebody else team up to push somebody out of the way. He's moves fairly well laterally. He's going to be able to stay in front of pass rushers. Again, if you move him to guard, that's not going to be a huge concern anyway. But he does have the lateral range to stay in front of pass rushers, which is why I think he'll be better as a left guard than a right one. And he plays in control. He plays like somebody who's smart, who has experience, who understands the nuances of the position. And he has a good grasp of all that kind of stuff. Now, when you're looking at him as a guard, he's too tall. 6'7" is a problem for a guard. It's really hard to win leverage battles when you're 6'7". And he's not that strong either. Even though he's big, he's going to get bullied by better bull rushers. There are going to be people out there who just run him over and push him around. He's better in space. He's better in a zone scheme where he can make blocks on the move and focus on things like angles and, hitting moving targets and targeting linebackers. That's a little more his game. He's gotten injured a few times already in his career, which as a Huskies fan, we know about a little bit. And he's not really going to generate a ton of movement in the running game. He's definitely one of those guys who benefits from double teams, being able to hit moving targets, blocking linebackers. If you tell him, hey, go push the one tech out of the way, that's going to be difficult. So I think the low upside is a thing. I don't see Jackson Kirkland ever being a starting caliber NFL player, but I do think he's an NFL caliber backup. I do think the versatility gives him a little bit of extra value, and I do think he can at least be a backup in this league. He belongs somewhere as a backup. I still wish I knew what position he's going to be best at. I think it's left guard, but it's very debatable. He didn't actually play left guard to my recollection when he was in college. I think he played right guard and left tackle. I don't think he's going to be a good left tackle, but maybe that ends up being his best position. Right guard could end up being his best position. I don't know. But with that, area of unknown comes some versatility that I think has some value. So I would take him in the 6th round on for depth. I think he's worth a depth selection in the 6th round on. I can't really go any higher than that because I don't think he has any starter upside. But there's a place in the world for a player like this, just like there is with a guy like Stone Forsythe and Jake Curhan. They're quality backups. They're reasonable backups. They can do the job as backups. And that's it. We looked at 6 left guards. There may be a couple hidden out there, like I said, but that's it. It's not a good crop. If you want a really good one, you're going to have to move quickly. And even if you want somebody who has upper potential, like some starter upside, you need to move pretty quickly. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Go Hawks.